I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how to let go of toxic and negative relationships in your life. Because if you're holding on to toxic and negative energy in your life right now and you want to let it go, but part of you feels like you can't, part of you feels like you have to hold on, then this video is absolutely for you. Because for the longest time, I thought that I had to hold on to these energies. I thought that I had to hold on to this negative energy and this toxic energy in my life. And then I realized that I really don't have to. I don't have to hold on to this negative energy. I can do what it is that I want with my life and create a healthy boundary and create a boundary for the life that I actually want to live, to protect my emotions to some degree. Because here's the thing is that a lot of people that are very highly sensitive and spiritual and conscious or empathic or whatever label you want to use, they're very connected to people's emotions. Now, what we do is we take on people's energy thinking that we have to do this and that our responsibility is to deal with people's negative emotions. And this is what a lot of empaths do. So if you're new to this channel, I want you to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, because I post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one, then apply for a free consultation by hitting the link that's in the description box of this video. Because we take on these negative energies thinking that we have to, but the truth is that we don't have to. Because if you truly loved yourself, then you would let go of that relationship. That relationship that you're holding on to is probably a lose-lose. Because if you're even having thoughts of letting go of a toxic relationship, maybe it's time to let go. Now, it really depends what it is that you want. But what I noticed in my life is that there came a point in my life where holding on to this negative energy was just simply not serving my highest vision. It wasn't serving what it is that I wanted to create. Now, we as empaths and as conscious beings, or whatever label you want to use, maybe you don't identify as any of those things. Maybe you're just very sensitive to emotions and you just want to let go of a toxic relationship. It doesn't really matter what label you use. These are all just words and labels. But if you're trying to let go of a toxic relationship, understand that you don't want to feel selfish or guilty for wanting to let go of a relationship. Because it's not that you have anything against that person. It's that you want to feel good within your body. And we have this whole conditioning in society that tells us that feeling good is a bad thing to some degree. Now, this is a deep-rooted unconscious thing, but it is true because we believe that we have to take on people's negative energy. But if you loved yourself, if you truly had self-respect and love for yourself, you would not hold on to negative relationships and toxic energy holding you down, keeping your vibration low. Because if you want to step up in life and create something big, the truth is that you're going to have to let go of certain relationships. Now, it doesn't have anything to do with that person. And it might seem like it. It's like, Francis, what do you mean it doesn't have anything to do with that person? It has everything to do with that person. Well, not really, because at a deeper level, what you're really doing is you're having respect for yourself. It has more to do with you than it does with that person. It has more to do with self-love than hate towards somebody else. Now, that's a key distinction to make, because people get lost in this loop of thinking that they're hating other people. No, you don't hate other people. You're just at the point where you love yourself and it's time to let go of what doesn't serve out of love for yourself and that person too. I'll get to that in just a moment. So before I go a little bit deeper into this topic, just keep in mind that you don't want to feel guilty or selfish for wanting to let go of negative energy. It's just not needed. Just let go of that baggage right away. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel selfish, because what you're really doing is you're wanting freedom. You want to step into your power as a conscious being and a conscious creator. And there's nothing wrong with that. I give you permission right now to let go of what doesn't serve you. Now, I know it feels good to hear that from somebody else, because when my coach told me that it's okay to let go of certain things in my life, it just made me feel so much better, because we just need to hear it sometimes. It's okay to let go of what doesn't serve you. It's okay, because you might be at a high vibration and then you start engaging with that person and then it becomes this whole ordeal where you think you have to hold on to that person, you have to do this, you're being selfish, you feel guilty. It's like, Francis, I feel so guilty for wanting to let go of this person. What are they going to think of me? Well, what you have to see is that what they think of you and their emotional response is not really up to you to decide how they're going to react. Like, you can show compassion if you want. I'm not saying don't be a compassionate human being. In fact, that's what you are. If you're watching this video, you're probably very sensitive to emotions and you have a strong level of compassion for people. So much compassion that you let people take advantage of that. Now, don't let that happen. Show compassion to people that you want to show compassion for. But some people, like, the truth is that you can't give everybody compassion. Now, I know how that sounds. You're thinking, Francis, how can you say that? Well, you have to show compassion for yourself at some point. There comes a point where, are you going to love yourself and show compassion for yourself and put yourself first? Now, you might be thinking, Francis, that's kind of selfish. No, the truth is that it would be more selfish for you to hold on to a relationship, because you're actually doing a disservice to that person at some point if you really want to step up in life. Feeding into somebody else's negativity and taking responsibility for their triggers as your own can be a selfish act. It would be more selfless for you to step up into your power and do what it is that you truly want to do with no boundaries and no limits. Now, here's the things that a lot of people take on the baggage of other people's energy, thinking that they need to take it on. But the truth is that it's not always your responsibility. Now, for me as a coach, sometimes I have to take responsibility and I choose to step into certain energy to show compassion and help people. But there's other times in my life where I just have to be alone and meditate. I can't give my energy to everybody. Now, that's just the truth. That is just the truth. And maybe that's a brutal truth. Maybe you don't want to hear that. Maybe it's exactly what you wanted to hear and you feel empowered listening to this. But that is the truth. I'm not trying to sugarcoat this. It is the truth. Sometimes you have to protect your energy. Other times you have to look at the darkness head on. But there comes a point where you just got to let go of the toxic relationship. You're not running away. You're not escaping. You've probably already surrendered. You've probably already been meditating. You've probably already let go of your ego. You've probably already been conscious and you're thinking, Francis, what if I'm just running away? No, you've already probably been meditating. Maybe you just have enough respect for yourself and you just don't want to deal with that energy, right? For the longest time, I would deal with so much toxic energy in my life for much longer than needed. So the second thing I want to share with you, the first thing was don't feel selfish or guilty. The second thing I want to share with you is I want you to really be aware of how toxic that relationship really is. Because awareness alone cures everything. That's what I always teach in my videos. Consciousness and awareness of the moment and being connected to the present moment pretty much auto-corrects your life in very interesting, magical ways. Because the more that you connect deeper to the moment, the more that you connect to the truth of who you are, you start to naturally get into alignment with what it is that you truly want. And your life just becomes a lot easier. And so part of this is understanding that when you have awareness of yourself and your life and being connected to the moment, you'll naturally let go of toxic relationships in your life because of that consciousness and that deep connection to the present moment that you have. Because when you have a deep connection to the present moment, that will inevitably lead to you letting go of toxic relationships that don't serve in a much easier way, because the present moment will guide you to go on the path that you really want. And you'll make it a win-win, because when you approach situations and social interactions, and especially negative unconscious people, from a place of being very present to the moment, it ends up being a win-win and not a lose-lose. And they even see at some higher level, or maybe even at the explicit level, that it is for the highest good of both of you. Only if you run away and escape from a place of ego, then it will be a lose-lose. But if you leave from a surrendered state of consciousness, being present to the moment out of respect for yourself, it becomes much easier. Now, how do you do this? You just train your awareness. Become more present to the moment. Start connecting to the truth of who you are beyond the ego. Start to develop your consciousness and your awareness and just be more present in the moment. And what you'll find is that you're able to let go of these toxic relationships much easier simply because you have conscious awareness of how negative it really is. You just see how negative it is. You see how you're just so conscious of that negative vibe, that negativity. You're so conscious of it. You're so aware of how much it's not really serving you. You're just able to let it go out of respect for yourself. It's just that easy. That's just how it works. When you have awareness and consciousness, you let go of everything that doesn't serve you. Not just toxic relationships, maybe a job that you don't like, maybe foods, maybe bad habits. When you have consciousness and awareness, you'll be shocked to realize that you have to let go of a lot of things that you were okay with before, but you weren't, now you're not okay with them anymore. Now that's the thing with spiritual awakening, is be ready to let go of a lot, including a lot of relationships that you thought were in alignment, but turns out that they're not in alignment. And awareness and consciousness will help you do that. So just keep in mind that the second thing is to have awareness and consciousness of the present moment, where naturally you will get to the point where it's easy for you to just let go of what doesn't serve, including toxic and negative relationships. Now, the third thing I want to share with you is have self-love for yourself and love for that person. Because if you truly had love for yourself, you would not hold on to something that doesn't serve you. You would let go of negative and toxic relationships that are not in alignment with your highest potential. Because when you start loving yourself, which means you have more consciousness and awareness of the present moment, because consciousness and awareness of yourself is actually giving yourself love to some degree. What you'll see is that you naturally let go of these things that don't serve just out of love for yourself. Because if you loved yourself, you wouldn't be eating all these bad foods. You wouldn't be holding on to all these negative relationships. You wouldn't be doing all these bad habits in your life if you had love for yourself. Now, I'm not saying that you hate yourself, but to some degree, that's what the ego does. The ego actually is a self-destructive force that hates on itself to some degree. And it likes to stay in a loop of negative habits that aren't actually serving you. Now, if you have love for yourself, you would let go of that person. And here's the thing though, it's also love for that person as well. Because there comes a point in your consciousness and your development where it would be a disservice to that person to keep them in your life. Because you're reaffirming to them that their negativity is okay. By you staying in that relationship, you're telling them that it is okay for them to be negative. But there comes a point where you have to speak your truth and tell them that their negativity is really impacting you, or just leave and don't explain anything. Whatever you feel called to do. Maybe you speak your truth, maybe you leave. Either way, you have to bring light to the darkness of the situation. You got to bring consciousness to the negativity. They have to know. They have to know that it's not okay. You're doing a disservice to them and yourself by holding on to negative emotions, by holding on to toxic relationships. Absolutely a disservice for the highest good of the planet, for you, for that person, for the development of your consciousness, everything, your personal life. It's all connected. There's no coincidence. Everything's connected. Now, what you need to see is that it's super critical that you see that if you loved yourself, you would let go. You would not hold on. And you would also see that the most loving thing you can do for that person is to literally set them free and let them go. Because if you love that person, you wouldn't reaffirm to them that toxicity is okay. Now, the fourth thing I want to share with you, which is a big thing that empaths have a problem with, or conscious beings, or just a lot of humans in general. A lot of humans have a hard time creating a healthy boundary in their life. Creating boundaries. Like, there's multiple ways you can do this. You can explicitly tell somebody, like, hey, this negative energy is just not going to cut it anymore. Out of, like, it's not anything against you. It's not personal, but I got to let go of this energy because it just feels so negative. Now you can do that. You can speak your truth. If you feel called to speak your truth and bring light to that unconsciousness and bring consciousness to that unconsciousness and bring awareness to that negativity and toxicity, then you can do that. But you can also implicitly create boundaries where you just don't give people your energy because you see that who you give your attention to is very, very valuable. Your time and your energy is very, very valuable. Now, don't feel selfish for creating a boundary because there comes a point where you have to benefit yourself and help yourself in life so that you can help others and be more selfless. You see, if you help yourself first, then you can give more value to people. If I didn't help myself and meditate, take some time alone, I wouldn't be able to record these videos for you right now. If I allowed all these toxic relationships in my life, I would not be able to help you right now in this video. So it's one big interconnected process of, it seems like you're being selfish, but really you're doing the best thing for yourself because you have to focus on yourself. And that person's going to tell you why you're being selfish, but the truth is that you're not. You're not being selfish. You're just focusing on love, loving yourself. That's not being selfish. That's very selfless. So healthy boundaries are okay. Boundaries in life is saying no to certain things, or don't even say anything. Just implicitly don't give things attention. If there's a super negative person in your life, you don't always have to explain yourself the details of why you don't want to engage with that person. You could just say, hey, I got to go. I'll talk to you soon, right? And you're coming from a place of love. You're not being negative. You don't have anything against that person. It's not personal. It's not, there's no ego around it. It's not personal. You're just doing your thing. You're just stepping into your power. It's not your responsibility to deal with people's triggers sometimes. That's all you have to do. It's not your responsibility. Now, you just have to see that you don't have to explain yourself sometimes. Just say, hey, have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Love. Just say it from love, not from ego. Say it from consciousness. Say it with presence. Hey, I got to get going. I'll talk to you soon. Done. But you know what? If it's something more subtle, where it's a specific person in your life, well, now you can explicitly create a boundary and say, hey, you know what? I've been thinking and, it's time for me to move on to something else in my life. Or you could just say, hey, you know what? When I'm around you, I feel a very dark, heavy energy and, I'm just going to need some time alone. It has nothing to do with you. It really doesn't, because you're being honest here. You're speaking your truth. But I need some time alone and I need some space. Now, it might be hard for some of you to say that if that's the point you're at in life, but sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes you got to speak your truth. Sometimes you have to say what it is that you need to say in order to step up into your highest vision and step up into your power. Now, whatever you choose is up to you, but you'll know what to do when you're conscious and you're present to the moment and you love yourself enough. You're not going to have an issue letting go of these relationships if you just love yourself and have consciousness. Now, a lot of you might not even be holding on. You just might be unnecessarily thinking that you have to hold on. It's like there might not be like this whole negative energy around this. There might not be this whole heavy. It's just like you don't have a healthy boundary. Like, it's okay to create boundaries. That's what I want you to know real quick. It's like, it's all good to create boundaries. Like right now, if you feel a high vibe state, you don't have to put yourself in a lower state and go into someone's energy field. You don't have to do that. Unless you want to do that and be compassionate and help them, then do that. But you don't always have to explain yourself. You could just be at a high vibe and enjoy your time alone and not have to explain yourself to others. Now, I know how that sounds. That can sound so egotistical. It's like, whoa, Francis, protect your energy. And like, it sounds like you're running away from negative people in your life, Francis. Like, I don't like the way you're explaining this. But here's the thing is that there comes a point where on your spiritual awakening journey, where you've already learned how to surrender to the moment. Now it's about stepping into your power. This is the thriving mindset. We're not surviving anymore. If you're watching this video this far, this is not about surviving. We're way past survival. Survival is the past. Survival is outdated. The ego and lower consciousness, lower vibrational states is outdated. The software needs to be upgraded to the next level. And it's part of that is stepping up into your power and just being in a high vibe state. You don't always have to heal everything. Enjoy your time, enjoy the process of your life, and just be at a high vibe state. Enjoy the high vibe state. Don't let people ruin that. There's no reason to let people ruin that. Enjoy your high vibe state. Create that boundary. Say no to certain energy in your life, whether explicitly or implicitly. Whatever you choose to do, whatever you feel called to do. But understand that it's okay to do that. You can just be high vibe. If you feel high vibe right now, congratulations. You can stay in that energy field and create a boundary. Stay present to the moment. Do what you want. It's your life to live. You can do what you want. It is your life to live. You have the choices that you can make with your free will. Okay, so if you want to download my free guided meditation, hit the link that's in the description box of this video. I'll also leave it as a comment in this video. It's specifically designed to allow you to connect deeper to the present moment. So that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you in the next video.